We are always live and always wild. Hi everyone and welcome to the Africam show. I was thinking to myself, I feel like having a very chilled out time with you all today, but it seems like we're starting off with a bit of a bang. I know that we can't really see too much right now, but there is a story to tell. Now we're looking at the skukuza cam here, and I wonder if you can spot that buffalo. There's an unfortunately dead buffalo. Seems to be an old Dagga boy. And that could only mean one thing. Lions are around. So we're going to wait patiently and hope that they show themselves. They are somewhere around here. It's just a matter of finding them. Anyway, welcome aboard everyone. If this is the first time that you're joining us, this is an opportunity to go through all the different cameras that we have here at Africam. And we can look at the different animals, but most importantly, you get to do this with a ranger. That's me, Trishala. And you can ask whatever you like. You can send me questions, send me comments, and you know the drill. You can send me what you're doing to enjoy this time together. Maybe you have a cup of coffee, or like me, and you're maybe... Whenever I tell people the snacks I take on game drive, or as I'm about to tell you what I'm drinking right now, people go, ugh. I'm drinking beetroot juice, everybody. I like beets. I do. Anyway, rolling trouble, you say hi there. Hot down here too in Oregon, at the Oregon border. The temp today is going to be 40 degrees Celsius. Whew, that is hot. That is proper hot. Even for us here in Africa, I know everyone always thinks it's very hot here, but it's not here hot all the time. And 40 degrees Celsius is pretty steamy, even for us, even for me, a very, very hot-loving girl. Jasmine 57, you say hello. Hello, Jasmine. Thank you so much for joining us. Dear NC, you say good morning from a sunny and hot Seattle. You're ready with your cup of coffee for the show. Yay. Nice. Zygote, you say hi, Trishala. Namaste. Namaste to you too, Zygote. Thank you for joining us. Andy, you say good morning all. The two lions are up at skukuza. Yes, they are. So apparently there's two male lions that are hanging around an area and are the ones who've taken down this buffalo. And I know it can be quite difficult to see. It's still quite thick here, but we're looking for movement. There we go. I see something. Can you see that movement by the buffalo there? Come on, show yourself again. It was just to the right of the buffalo and walked along. Coming back up now. Come on. Waiting patiently. Let's see if we can manage to get us a view there. She's got a little bit of a glitch, but don't worry. I'm pretty sure I saw a lion, so it's just a matter of time before we get a closer look. So let's head, there we go, over to Oldonyo in the meantime. Don't worry, we will head back to Skukuza to get a look at those lions. And Oldonyo never disappoints. Got a nice giraffe, splayed, ready for a drink, but also paying a lot of attention to the approaching bull. Now, in my experience, I've found that older bulls, mature older bulls, are some of the least problematic elephants in terms of their behavior. Bar, of course, just as I say that, barring, of course, if they're in must. But I think right there, that just told you that animals can be completely unpredictable. As much as we can learn about their behaviors, signs, and signals that they can give us, just as I said to you that I found elephant bulls the least problematic, this one goes and chases that giraffe. Jasmine, 57, you say it's still hot in Arizona. I must say, here in Cape Town, it's actually quite warm today too, which is fantastic because the winter weather has been awful. Mindy Tillapal, hi Mindy, you say you're looking forward to seeing cool stuff with me today. We're already off to a fantastic start. Couldn't be happier. seeing a good elephant. Oh, there we go. We're back. Now, we do apologize for that. We just lost controls briefly with that glitch that I was telling you about, but you can see that the lions are back here at Skukuza. Oh, what a treat. I imagine that this is not pre-recorded. This is nothing. This is live, happening right now. So they're in Skukuza, in the Kruger right now. These lions are feasting on this buffalo. And you are witnessing it from wherever you are in the world. Isn't that phenomenal? It gets me every time, and I do a lot of live work, and it always just hits something, just to know that right here in South Africa, in the Kruger, in Skukuza, this is happening at this very moment. Oh my goodness. I'm quite glad that these lions have gotten a kill. The male that moved off to the right, he looked quite well fed, and there is a bit of a hierarchy at a carcass when there are males as well as a pride around. This is also another male, but can you see his back hips there? Quite skinny. So I think that they haven't fed for a while. Now this buffalo was taken down this morning, so they're still getting into it. You can see that the belly is really nice and round, and quite quickly, I must add, if they are not well fed, look at the hips here as well. You can see the bone sticking out. You can even see the spine, each one of the vertebrae sticking out. So these boys are really in need of this meal. But if we see them, and we will because it'll take them a while to finish this carcass, if we see them over the next few days, it is amazing the conversion, how quickly it happens from eating the meat to it actually being deposited into their body, turning into fat and muscle. It is amazing how quick that can happen, how quickly a good meal can change the condition of a lion or any predator at that rate. Rolling Trouble, you say hello from Washington, coffee and your water. Of course you do. Glenda Newman Craft, you say hello from Indiana with your diet Mountain Dew. I love to hear it. Timber Grace, you say good morning from beautiful Minnesota. You've got your coffee in hand and you're ready for some action. Well, there you go. Perfect timing. It's also phenomenal given the density of the bush in this area that this kill happened to be made and that we can see the lions with the camera. I know it's just a bit of a sliver where we can actually see things happening, but it is so fortunate that we managed to, well, I mean, we didn't manage to do anything. It's just fortunate that it happened in a space where we could actually see. Hey, Sally. Sally, you say the male lion is one of the Inkulu males. And you saw 3 of 6 of the older males back in 2021 on this camera. That's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely 3 of them here. So meat takes a while to digest, or rather not to digest, but to make it through the system. I mean, if you've ever had just a plain vegetarian meal, you'll probably tell that it goes through your system pretty quickly. But that's, for lions, they're not entertaining any thoughts of eating vegetation. It's all about the meat. So their digestive system is very well equipped to digest the meat efficiently and then also to convert that nutrients into fat, muscle, any other kind of density that the body needs in order to get back into shape. One has, the one that's looking at us now, seems to have the darkest mane of the 3. Now he's got a nice notch in his left ear. Rolling trouble, you say? Whoa, whoa, indeed. This is just amazing. Mindy Tillapau, you'd like to know, is there a certain order in which the lions feed on different parts of the buffalo? There are some things that tend to go first, and this goes for quite a few different predators. Now you can see that the mouth of the buffalo, that muzzle, is pretty well peeled, I suppose. Now that's because the way they would have taken down the buffalo, there's no meat there. It's not, well, I guess there's a little bit of meat there, but it's nothing too significant. There we go. I'm looking at the notch there on the lion's left ear. And also you can see that he's kind of bald on either side, so it looks like he's got a mohawk. Another nice identifying feature, but that's something that lots of lions have, especially as their mane is filling out. Look at that tail landed on the top of his head. Wow, the one on the right there looks significantly larger. Do you see how big his head is? So Mindy, that front muzzle part that's been eaten is just because a lot of the time what lions will do, you'll see when they're hunting, one will jump on the back and try to get like the spine of the animal, which will immobilize it. But other individuals, or maybe even if they can't get to the spine, they'll go over the mouth. And to go over the mouth, they'll get the mouth and the nose and try to suffocate the animal. They can also go for the neck. But it's clear here that somebody went for the mouth to try and suffocate it. That's why we're seeing so much skin and fur missing from the top there. But that's not offering them a whole lot of nutrition. Now, the other parts that go quite quickly is, unfortunately, the genitals and the eyes. Now, those are both very nutrient-rich and soft areas. Eyes, I have no idea why it goes first. It's not as if it's got a huge amount of nutrients. There is a lot of water and it is very soft. And I suppose it's easy to get to. It doesn't take a lot of effort. But every single time when we're talking about the actual body of a prey item that's been killed, always for lions, the eating starts at the back, usually around the genitals and the anus. And it makes sense because those areas are delicate, they're soft, they're easy to get through. And then also, starting at the anus means that you can, it's going to sound so brutal when I say it, but it's easy to get into the entire cavity of the animal. And then you'll find from the anus, they'll move to underneath the genitals of the animal through to the stomach. And then from there, I guess it's smooth sailing because no more opening up has to be done. Kaoru, you'd like to know, why did it take so long for the lions to start eating? I'm not sure how long it took them to start eating, because remember that half of this carcass is out of our view. And we know that they took this buffalo down this morning. And there's a few things to consider here. One, no scavenger is going to be able to steal this meal unless there are more lions around, which is probably not the case because lions are territorial. So if there are dominant males like these guys in the area, there are only going to be other prides consisting of females and their offspring in the area. They're not going to be other dominant males. If they are, it's going to be a rogue male and somebody who's trespassing in their territory. So they're not at risk of losing this kill. There could be other scavengers, definitely. Spotted hyenas, leopards could come along, but they're not going to be able to steal the buffalo. They're only going to be able to take a chunk, eat a chunk, or grab a leg or something if it's already been broken apart. But they're not going to be able to steal the entirety of that kill, especially not if it hasn't been pulled apart just yet. So there isn't really a need for them to start eating very quickly. And then they could also be tired and they might want to rest before they start eating. And then also, I don't know when exactly they started to eat because we spoke just now about where on the buffalo's body they would start, and they'd start towards the back of the body. And that part is out of our view. So it could be that somebody has already been eating from the time this buffalo was killed, but just out of our view. Now, within this group of males, within this coalition, there will be an individual that is dominant. And he will be the one that will eat first, although it's not as if there's not a strict hierarchy. It's just that because he's bigger and a little bit more dominant, then the others would give way to him. But I've seen male lion coalitions being quite playful with their brothers at a carcass. You know, the slightly more dominant one moves away and rests while the other eats, and then will try to scare them and stalk them and jump and play. So even though there is a dominant individual, it's not a strict hierarchy where he would be aggressive ordinarily to his brothers at a carcass. Hi Sarah, you say you're new to Africam. Well, welcome to the Africam community. We're so happy to have you. You've jumped on at the perfect time because we are so lucky to see a buffalo, unfortunately dead, but with these lions around. You are asking, you say they're quite skinny in the back and the hips. Is it because they're young, or is this normal with lions? So they're not especially young. You can see that everyone's got their mane. They've already formed a coalition. While I'm not sure of their exact age, they don't look like sub-adults. To me, they're 100% adult. But the skinniness that you're talking about is an important thing to notice. Predators can lose condition very quickly. And there's a couple things that will affect that, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But the skinny hips, you can see even on one of them, you could see each vertebra of the spine as well. So they are skinny, they're in need of a meal. And lions will, if a buffalo kill like this, for example, they could go a week, maybe even 10 days if they had to, without making any other kills. But it will start to show, and it will start to show with the hips and the spine. But that doesn't mean that they are on the verge of starvation, because animals out in the wild and predators are very used to a lifestyle of feast and famine. So here they will absolutely gorge themselves. They'll eat 40, 45 kgs of meat, each one of them, right now. And they will be rotund, and will find it very difficult to move and very difficult to defend their carcass. And they can absolutely go else. And then the conversion of that meat into nutrients and everything else that the body needs in order to fill out happens quite quickly. Over the next few days, you might see them and they will look absolutely fine. Sometimes, and I have seen lions that are in really, really bad shape, it's going to take a couple meals like this to help them out. But it is normal to see them between meals looking a little bit skinny. And you can often tell and even plan your day as a guide. If you know that there are lions around and it's the middle of the day and you're just starting your game drive, you've gone and seen the lions and you can see that they're looking skinny, then you know that evening they're going to go out for a hunt. They are absolutely going to hunt, and then you can come back there. So it gives us an indication of their behavior, but it's also something that's pretty normal. Glenda Newman Craft, you say there was a vulture pecking at it earlier. Not surprised, but that also tells me that if a vulture was pecking on it earlier, Kauru, I'm thinking about your question again, then that means it was already opened up. Which means that they've probably started eating earlier than we think. Leela May 6 Ohio. Hi Leela May. You would like to know, was this a lone buffalo that was taken down? As far as I know, yes it was. It was a lone buffalo, and he looks quite old, probably a Dagga boy. So a Dagga boy is one of those old buffaloes, males that are gone past their prime, that tend to hang out on the fringes of the herds. They still kind of follow them, but that distance between that group of older bulls and the actual main herd gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually they kind of end up on their own. And so this very much looks like a Dagga boy, one of those lone buffaloes. It's very likely that you would have seen this buffalo on the cameras previously, on this camera previously. And obviously, as they get older, their condition worsens. They start to deteriorate, and they lose the protection of the herd because they are putting more and more distance between them and the herd, or rather the herd is putting more and more distance, just quite organically. They're not chasing the Dagga boys away. It just happens quite organically that they get separated. And not that I can comment on any of the emotions of an animal, but they seem to be quite satisfied with, hanging out with similarly aged and deteriorating in similar ways company. If you do have more lion, buffalo questions, you're welcome to send them through. This is an awesome, awesome thing to be able to witness. But also, if you have giraffe and elephant questions, send those through too, because we have those two at El Doño still chilling. Sarah, you say thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us and joining the Africam community. All right, here we go. Just taking a little bit of a break. Like I said, send your questions through. That's what I'm here for. But we're back at El Doño to watch the giraffe and this elephant. Glad to see that things have settled down here and they're no longer, or at least the elephant bull doesn't seem to be irritated with the giraffe any longer. Shame, this giraffe is really paying so much attention to what's happening around it. It's always such a compromising position to be in for them when they drink. But at the same time, even though this elephant bull did react to the giraffe does have extra safety because the bull is around, the elephant bull. That early bull will be able to detect any potential predators. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that the giraffe wants to get into any kind of altercation, verbal or not, with the elephant. The elephant's still giving it a bit of a side eye as well. The thing with elephants and across the board, it doesn't matter what age they are, they really know their size. They know how big and imposing they are. And I think sometimes they can be bullies. I see it a lot. I mean, I don't know if there is such a thing as innocent bullying, but it appears quite innocent. It's almost as if they get a kick from causing a bit of trouble at waterholes especially. Yes, you. I wonder if he's looking for the little pipe that feeds the water into this waterhole. Oh, are you? Is it? I think so. I remember there was a lovely clip that we had looked at of an Ellie bull putting his trunk right over the spout that was delivering water to this waterhole. No Cape Glossy starlings, no space for you. The elephant wants it all to himself. So we've got about 5 minutes left together, and I think considering how lucky we are to have the sighting in Skukuza of those lions and the buffalo. Oh, and look at this. The elephant was very good. He knew to exit the stage. Let's head back to Skukuza and spend these last few minutes with those lions. Here we go. Now, thinking about how much that they have eaten, whether they've eaten a lot, when did they start eating? The amount of times that I've seen this side of the buffalo, so where the belly and the underside is facing the animals that are eating and facing away from me, and looking like that, it's as if the buffalo is fully intact, that there's so much meat left. But actually, if you look on the other side, you realize how much has actually already been eaten. This is quite far away from our camera, so we're probably not going to be able to hear, or even if you watched this earlier when we were not during the Africam show, it would have been very difficult to hear. But if you were there in person, this would be a noisy affair. You would hear growls. I mean, lions, even within the pride, within a coalition, they can get quite possessive about their piece of meat. And you'll hear lots of growls. You might hear some pushing, or you might see some pushing, some swatting. Very deep, deep growls. Almost sounds like they're burping continuously, burping with a growl. You'd also hear the sound of their teeth as they're pulling the carcass, especially the sound of the back teeth called carnassial shears. Now these are modified molars, like so right at the back of the mouth, and they look like shears. They're as if they're two blades, and they're constantly moving against each other, sharpening each other. And so the sound, it sounds like shears cutting through the meat, and it's very loud when you're there in person. Unfortunately, the sound is down, but this is the type of thing that if you need to be there in person to hear those little details that I'm telling you about. But it is a noisy affair. And then on top of that, you get a bit of sneezing and stuff like that. There's all sorts of fluids and viscera going all over their faces. And when you go to a lion sighting, or if you found a lion sighting where there's been a kill, you can often hear it as you're approaching. Oh, thank you, Mr. Lion, urinating for us. Yes, all part of the package of being a living creature, isn't it? Yes. Kim, hi. You say hello, Trishala. What can we expect tonight from the camera? You are probably going to see scavengers arrive. Hyenas are going to arrive. Yes, there are 3 big male lions here, but that's not going to stop them from coming and having a look, scoping it out, looking for an opportunity. Now, hyenas won't be able to displace 3 male lions, but hyenas are also very, very, very smart, very intelligent. So some of these lions, start catching a nap, which they will. This is tiring business, digesting all of that meat. Not only digesting it, constantly eating, chewing, taking this animal down. It's tiring business. If they're napping, if they're not paying attention, if they take a walk down to have a drink, the hyenas want to be close enough to be able to get their piece of this buffalo too. So you're probably going to see spotted hyenas. In fact, I guarantee it. You're not going to see vultures at night. Again, they might roost and hang around in the trees close by. Once I was at a lion sighting. Also, they had killed a buffalo, and there were vultures all around in the trees, and the vultures started mating. So you might even see that later today. But in the evening, keep an eye out for predators, for other predators, that is, scavengers coming through. Maybe other lions even. Maybe there'll be a pride that these boys are taking care of. They might come through too. So lots to look forward to. Whenever there is a kill, it's a hub of activity, not just from the predator that has taken down the animal and is feasting, but from the entire bush. Things start to happen. You're going to hear alarm calls if you're there in person. It really is a hub of activity. Everyone, every other predator in the area knows what's happened. Isn't this just spectacular? I'm so excited that we were able to spend time here at this carcass. Andy, you say there's 4 lions now? Oh, maybe I see a 4th. Very nice. So in total, there are meant to be, I think, 6 of them, from what Sally said. So maybe more will come join too. Lots to look forward to. And he said, nope, just 3. Just 3 for now, but there are potentially 6, at least part of this coalition, so there's lots to look forward to. Anyway, I have talked too much now, 2 minutes too much, and it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep watching the camera. Watch the camera at night, like Kim Hai was asking. Maybe we'll see more action. But from me, for now, goodbye and thank you, and I'll see you soon.